And we are back with Lisa Waterslane in the studio. She comes each week with your garden question. Just what are people talking about out in the landscape? Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
So we should let people know you are just back from Poland.
I made it back.
Yeah,
Barely,
survived.
but I made it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us what you're doing there? Why are you in Poland without your boyfriend?
Well, I went with my daughter-in-law and the 3 grandkids, and we went to Poland. So, and her mother, who is originally from Poland. So they moved, I think, in the early 80s from Poland to the States.
Yep.
So it was just fun to go back. I got to see where Maria is her mother, where she grew up, the little village she grew up in, and where her dad grew up in, a little mountain town. But so we were down near Krakow, is where we were. Beautiful country.
Beautiful country.
Oh
my gosh. Great people.
Great people. Food was good. Lots of chicken, lots of potatoes.
Of course.
Great
beer. You're in Poland.
But yeah, lots of spruce and firs and pines, lots of birch.
Really interesting.
Aspens,
Swedish aspen.
See many aspens.
Seems like Swedish aspens come just a little bit south of there.
It was mostly the birch that we saw. But just lovely country. I would definitely go back. I would love to go back in the summer.
Take me.
They love, because they're kind of like at a Flagstaff elevation.
Yeah.
So their season's kind of compressed, but they love their flowers.
Oh, yeah.
So she's like, you got to come back in the summer, because they just do beautiful container gardening, hanging baskets. That's kind of their thing. They make the most of the season when they have the season. So I would love to go back.
There are some really, has got some friends on the international level, Poland, actually Ukrainians.
Mm-hmm.
Ukrainians love their garden centers.
Mm-hmm.
Czechoslovakia. So they're big into their plants there. And you wouldn't think that, but it's just not natural alpine beauty all the time. No, they actually plant it.
Yeah.
So, and they love more. So I think part of that's just being indoors so long for winter.
Yeah.
When you finally come out, it's kind of like Montreal.
Yeah.
When they finally come out, they're going all in.
But I had a wonderful time. I would definitely go back. It was fun hanging with the grandkids, because they got.
What'd they think? Were they speaking Polish the time they got to
So when they first got there, they maybe knew 1 or 2 words. By the time we left, because where we were at, really nobody spoke English. It was all Polish, which was fun. It was great.
You're living with their family,
right?
In their house,
right?
Yeah.
So the kids were like, "Oh, I get it now. I get why this is important.
Awesome.
to speak Polish." So it was fun to see.
That's good. So for those folks in the Prescott area, they're hotel families, and so the Plevas, they are, you know who they are. So some of the folks in Prescott. So our boy married into she married. I guess you marry into each other's families. They combined forces. Lanes of Plevas. So we got a strong contingent of Polish folks that we love dearly in our family, and they've just enriched our lives beyond what. But Teresa is the first generation born here, American. They've got dual citizenship, so they've gotten back and forth. So it's just fun to see, we love different cultures. We've always taught our family, our kids, God created cultures so that we can enjoy each other in different ways. And so our kids have always taken that and just gone extreme with it. And they've traveled around the world, and just plop into some place.
Very well traveled, almost better traveled than us.
Well, we'll change that.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we'll change that. So.
But I would say, if anybody has maybe thought or not thought about going to Poland, it is definitely worth going to.
Really? Good.
I would go.
No, I'm jealous.
You should be.
I didn't get to go. I was here because we hired like a boatload of people. I was just nervous having all these new staff members. I want to keep the company culture going. I want to have strong.
There's a bunch of women and 2 grandsons. You wouldn't have.
Come on. Garden questions. What are we talking about? We should cover some garden content, not just your travel to Poland, but how was Krakow?
Krakow, the city is amazing. So we went kind of this downtown Krakow. There's a huge castle there, a beautiful cathedral there, but just very traditional. How they do, the houses are kind of painted different colors, yellows and pinks, and wonderful little stores to go through. Just very art oriented. Lots of statues and all that kind of stuff. It was just very nice.
So I've been to Hiroshima. Japan. That is very solemn. I mean, it is a very solemn place. Auschwitz, was that like that, or was it more of just a tourist trap?
Oh, no,
was it?
It's not touristy at all. Auschwitz is definitely worth going to, just
Okay.
For the reminder.
Yeah.
That actually did happen. And it was a horrible time. And also, it's just the history of it. You learn. I thought I knew a lot.
Yeah.
But I learned so much more going there, actually walking through the different camps. And
Gotcha.
it is very sobering, but very worthwhile doing.
How'd the grandkids take that? Were they okay? Or they even realize what's going on?
So we brought the older two. One was 12, one is 9. And I was very proud of them. They weren't squirrely.
Oh, good.
And they asked very good questions, and they were thinking it through. And they, I was hesitant to bring the younger one.
I would think so, even. Yeah.
But it definitely worthwhile. There were not many children there, younger people there, I would say, but they understood what it was. They understood the depth of it, the terribleness of it, and they asked some very good questions. Yeah.
Garden questions. So we don't want to end on that note. That's too depressing. Oh my gosh, death camps of World War II. Let's go to gardening.
Well, let's go to strawberries. So Sue in Chino has an existing strawberry patch, which she wants to add to this year. Last year, she didn't feel like she got a lot of strawberries out of it.
Sure.
And someone recommended her using the Flower Power. So she wants to know, is that worthwhile using on the patch, or should she be using something else? So
great question. So it should have been a blockbuster strawberry year last year. We had enough moisture. We were out of the monsoon. Rains came. It should have been the stars aligned, and you should have had unbelievable harvest. So I think we're down to soil or food. A soil's harder to correct because it's just, they're already planted. So it's a patch already there. You could throw a layer, although it's almost too late for that. I'd say right now it's just start with food. Flower Power is great. It's a water soluble, but I think you need to actually do a twofold. Put down fruit and berry food. So we've got a fruit and vegetable food. It's a pelletized granular organic food. Sprinkle that on top of the patch. That will feed the worms, get your patch going. It'll promote more blossoms. And then in addition, I would do the Flower Power. I do twofold. I would do Flower Power twice a month. That's a water soluble. Just go out there and give it just make them happy. But that's also going to activate the pellets that will kind of double down. And if you do those two things, do the fruit and vegetable food maybe every other month. And do the Flower Power twice a month. So hopefully I didn't get that confusing over the airwaves. But that ought to be a game changer. I think that'll get you a really good berry production on your strawberries, especially an older patch. So there you go. Come see us for more.
Sometimes you just need to kick them in the pants.
Yeah.
And the Flower Power definitely kicks them in the pants. So definitely worth it. All right. Our next question is from Tom in Prescott. So he didn't water his trees much through the winter because we just had so much rain. He wants to know, when should I be getting them back on their regular schedule?
Gotcha. So that's great, Tom. You're right on track. I didn't water very much, maybe once a month. It was very irregular because we had so much moisture. So, but I am turning my irrigation on, ours at the garden center and at home. We're starting to turn that on. I think April is when you turn your irrigation on. So your timing's perfect. It looks like there's no more moisture in the pipeline, and we're getting up into that late high 70s, 80s. So things are going to dry out. Yeah, hopefully. So now it's time to turn those things on. You're probably watering once a week for established plant trees and shrubs, roses, lilacs, just once a week, especially as they start to bloom. So you're seeing purple leaf plum bloom, ornament. Things are starting to wake up and they're heavily budded, heavily blooming right now. That's your cue. Turn the irrigation on, because if they get dry while they're in flower, you'll reduce your flowers. So now's the time, Tom. Turn it on. Water them once a week. Deep soak about a couple hours once a week should be enough for a drip irrigation system. And you're going to do that through October. So I've got a handout on that. You can come in and get it. It's how to water here at the Garden Center. For more, Tom, we'd love to help you out. But that is the end of this segment. We just talked too much about Poland and traveling the world. It's nice to be post-COVID anymore. So Ken and Lisa Lane, the Mountain Gardeners. Be right back after this.